Hi there, I'm Erin, the curriculum author behind Let's Cultivate Greatness. I create social studies resources for middle and high school teachers as well as homeschool families. Today I wanted to show you the 3 books that make up my U.S. Geography Workbook series. I have other videos where I deep dive into each of them, so this one really is just an overview of each of them, and you can see then how they work together to create a U.S. Geography curriculum for your students. All right, let's dive in. Well, all of these books can be done in any order, or they also can be done just one at a time. You don't need all 3. If there were an order of any kind, I guess I would recommend this one first. This one is really just the nitty-gritty of learning the states and the capitals of each of the 50 states. And so you'll see inside, each state gets its own dedicated page where you are learning kind of the physical geography of where the cities are located in the capital. Then you are learning the spelling and pronouncing of the state and the capital. And then it finishes off with a little bit of map skills. So it isn't just that memorization piece, as well as some mnemonic devices to help students remember the location, the spelling of those states. So you can see each state is included. And then at the end of each 10 states, there are these puzzle games for students to complete to help them really solidify and refresh on a chunk at a time. And then there is a quiz afterwards before moving on to the next set. So as you can see by the layout, this really is not something that a high school student would think is too babyish for them, but yet it's still accessible at all the different levels for being able to incorporate in as a first time learning all of these states and capitals, or as a quick refresher either in middle school or high school. Then moving on is where you're really diving into the individual states. And so this is usually a topic that is done in 4th or 5th grade when students are really learning specifically U.S. geography, but there is quite a bit of history and economics in here. So this still also works well at the middle school and even high school level if a student is interested or you're preparing for a road trip across the country. So here you can see that each state gets a 2-page spread, a quick review of the map and then of the state flag, as well as an overview. And then what I like best are these 2 deep dives into a cultural, physical, or an economic characteristic of each of the states, and then some critical thinking questions that kind of tie back to the map and tie back to other pieces of information learned about the state. So the questions really dive a little bit deeper, making this really good for elementary, even high school, or kind of that real upper elementary level. So as you can see, each state gets its own 2-page spread. And then lastly is more of a focus specifically on map skills and types of maps and reading maps. And so this one I really suggest being for middle school or high school. So it's something that can accompany a U.S. history course. It would be really good. It does start in the beginning with some very basic maps, right? What is a political map? What is a physical map, and how to read them? And so yes, that is content that is covered in lower elementary grades, and so certainly would be accessible for that. However, it does, hopefully very quickly, kind of go through different types of maps more and more, which would really extend beyond that elementary, even lower middle school age range. And as you can see, each map has a summary that goes with it with some key vocabulary terms, and then kind of 5 activities that incrementally get more difficult and really require deeper and deeper thinking, where you're exploring the map, you're really analyzing it, you're thinking about the map as if you were the map maker or someone using the map, and then some extension activities. And so there's 36 maps in this one that span all sorts of topics and all sorts of types of geographic subjects related to the United States. So this one works really well alongside U.S. history course, either in middle school or high school. All right, those are the 3 books. I do have videos for each one specifically, and I will have those linked below, as well as links to be able to purchase these workbooks either on Amazon, or if you want PDF versions, you can get those off my website as well. Thanks so much for watching.